Hey everyone, welcome back to another One More Podcast. As you can see, I'm by myself today, and that is because I'm bad at time management and just need to figure things out and whatnot. Just kind of take it a day at a time, I guess, at this point. So, wanted to talk to you something a little, I guess, personal, not really um, super interesting. I don't know, maybe some people might be able to relate, but wanted to talk about kind of the loss of my hair, I guess. Is the headline for this. Um, I don't know. I've never really talked about it before, and never really fully expressed and kind of comprehended my own emotions and feelings towards all of this. But I figure I'd just kind of spew everything out, sort of just ramble on, and I don't know. Well, maybe someone will listen. Who knows? But anyways, so started losing my hair in high school. It was probably, I don't know, my sophomore year, junior year ish to when I started to see, like, I actually had a spot in the back of my head that was barren. And it was really difficult for me because, as I've mentioned before, I think people like to be, um, what is the term I'm thinking of? Shit, I don't have anyone here to tell me what the term is. So I guess self-interested is the best way to put it, and it's very much interactions with people. At least for me specifically, has always been on a site basis, and I'm sure it's a very similar with a lot of people whenever they're either going out and about or if they're meeting someone or whatever it is. It's always you form hundreds of initial reactions based on just when someone walks in through the door. At least I do. I don't know. I don't necessarily act on it or express super judgment on it or anything like that. I'll always treat you the same no matter what, but I will have in the back of my head preconceived notions. Um, but going through the transitions in high school, it was very difficult for me because you have a lot of people going through puberty and stuff like that, or I guess coming out of the trail of puberty. I don't know what time people experience their things and whatnot, but yeah. So everyone was doing their thing, and I guess looks were very important. At least that's what I perceived. Obviously, you have your group of friends that are very much just they don't care what you look like. They're here just to get down and party and do whatever. So yeah, it was difficult for me, especially moving through this. I think it was a combination of my anxiety as a person as well, coupled with the loss of hair, that it was just kind of a slow downward spiral for me. Sophomore year, junior year, I was able to kind of work around it, do whatever. I actually tried. There's a product called Kabuki, and tried that for a little while to sort of cover things up, and that actually it worked. It was very messy, like it was a very dirty product, and my bathroom looked horrible whenever I was applying it, but that worked for a little bit. But then I kind of figured, all right, I don't really want to pay the money. I should just sort of learn to accept myself. But that was the problem, is I couldn't necessarily accept myself. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Honestly, I think it was just, the way I valued myself and the way I put myself out there. I was very much a class clown. I think me bashing on Blake a lot and everything like that, in good fun. And obviously I would never take it to a point where it would hurt or offend Blake, but making jokes and kind of putting people on the line and putting myself on the line, it's all sort of all in good fun. And so, when you stand out as sort of this, when you're the center of attention, everyone's looking at you, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You're going to get called out, or you're going to do something that everyone's going to do a reaction to. They're going to notice you. And so I think it was that, additionally to what I was going through, that kind of threw me in a shell, I guess. It's weird because you as a kid losing his hair, you're like, okay, I got to stay out of the spotlight. I'm going to do this or whatever, and walk these hallways here, and I'm try and wear hats whenever I could. Oh my god, like I'll get to it in a little bit, but in college I wore a crap ton of hats just because I was so insecure and I was just so self-conscious of everything. So but no, it was weird in high school. Plus, you're just your girlfriends and relationships and people, and it's all just sort of this mix of grossness and everything like that sort of just kind of threw me off my game. I would say I like overly got offended when anyone brought up the topic of my hair. I think it was like not well, I mean, I guess technically it would be a trigger word for me, but not in that same sense. It was very much when for me when hair got brought up, whenever someone was talking about their hair or whatever, I was always quick to try and change the conversation. I did have some friends in high school call me out on it, like, "Hey man, why are you losing your hair? What's going on? Blah blah blah, whatever." And I would try and just answer the questions really quickly and just move on with it because, very at a very very early age, I learned that if you if you try and aggressively change the topic, or like you show that this has some kind of emotional reaction to you, whether it's your height or your hair or the fact that you're stupid, whatever it is, the more angry you get about it, the more people are going to poke fun at you. So obviously, in middle school, I was a total reaction ball pit. Like, that was, if someone said something and I was being stupid or crazy, then I would react in an even stupider and even more crazy, and whatever. Honestly, I can't remember a lot what I did back then, but I'm sure that I could probably pull out some examples if I really think about it. But in high school, you kind of just move along and you sort of just sweep it under the rug and try in hopes to move on. So I don't know if it was necessarily just my personality coupled with my looks that I had problems with it growing up in high school. It was like I had the beard was growing and it was weird, and then the glasses and stuff. I don't necessarily think that glasses are bad per se, but I don't know. It's the things that make you different and that make you stand out that a lot of, you always hear, hey, what your, the uniqueness about you and the personality, and that's what makes you who you are, and that's what makes you stand out. And that's great. And that's awesome. And that's amazing. And that's really something that a lot of people can vibe with. But it's also that same exact thing, the same exact personalities that make you stand out, that can really isolate you and can really make you feel like, no one is listening or paying attention to you, So it was just kind of a whole big grab bag of a lot of issues that I was growing up with in high school. And it definitely got brought through to college. So I don't know. With the moral of the story, really, in the high school part one, I guess, is you can't focus on what makes you different, and you can't make sure it's known, and make sure you understand that, like, hey, this is I am X, Y, and Z, or I am this, that, whatever. That's the whole identity movement now in 2018 is definitely resonates with kind of what I was going through in high school, was trying to find my place. And I think it was a mix of all of that. Was the getting through acne, because that was in middle school. That was like a huge pepperoni face man. And then sort of moving into that, there was always something that sort of threw me under the bus and said, okay, I can't just be regular Joe who plays football for the school and makes decent grades and just flies under the radar. Like, that's, I could never have been that, unfortunately, and fortunately, because I like my life now. So, but yeah, so moving through high school into college, I don't think necessarily the hair was the biggest standout, because I actually did see some people who had a lot worse than me, kind of the development of the process. One side note, sorry, that I would say that kind of didn't necessarily help was being restricted, because later in high school, like probably my senior year, or I guess maybe the summer between senior year and freshman year of college, I wanted to shave my head. And, I figured, why look like some homeless man with, hair and not hair and whatever, because I'm a kid and it's weird and stuff like that. So I just figured, let's just try it out. Wanted to shave it, go for it, and see how it looked. And so, unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to do a complete shaved head for reasons and whatnot. And so I kind of had to live with it. And I think like I said, the transition here was difficult for me because I had to live with it. Because I think if I was a little more comfortable in my own skin moving on to college, I probably would have had a better time and maybe made better choices, give or take. But yeah, no, in college I think it was a little different for me. I was definitely seeing a lot more people, and I think the dating aspects and stuff like that were a little bit better because college is a time where everyone's learning about themselves, and I don't think it's necessarily all about looks and stuff like that. I think at least in my experience, college was a less superfluous. Is that the word? I don't know. Shallow is a better term. So yeah. So I don't know. Life continue on with high school, or I'm sorry, college, and it really wasn't that bad. I think with school you have this routine, like a very 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 strict routine. Like it's very much you're putting your 7 hours in, or 8 hours, however long high school day was, and you go in and you go out, and if you go against the grain, or if you go against the normal perception of what you should do in high school, that's where you come across the most problems. But with college, it's like, okay, you show up to class, you can sit in the back, you can do whatever, you can wear hats obviously, and boy did I wear a lot of hats. I think I had like 5, 6, 7 hats, and then a couple beanies and stuff like that I would constantly wear. Like at work, when I was working through school, I would because it was kind of a retail job ish, whatever. I was allowed to wear a beanie, and I wore a beanie every single day. I don't know. It gave me a little more confidence. It gave me a little more, now that you don't know that I'm bald or I'm balding, I could potentially have a little more conversation with you, I guess, or with the individual, whether it's a coworker or a customer I'm helping or whatever it is. I feel a little more comfortable because I don't know. For some reason, and I can't explain specifically why I have this feeling. I don't know if it's just been embedded for years and years and years of just a repetition, but I always felt that, like, because I'm balding or because I'm having half head of hair or whatever, whenever I talk to people, it comes off creepy, like as if this kid who looks like he's 40, but he's only 18 or whatever, 17, 18, 19. How could he be talking to people his same age? Because that's weird. Shouldn't you be talking to other 40-year-olds? And saying it out loud kind of sounds weird, but I don't know. I internalized that for so long. Like, if I try and flirt with women, or if I try and, ask someone out or do whatever, I felt more secure doing it with my beanie on than without, because I guess in my head it's like, oh, 40-year-old is asking another 18-year-old out, even though we're both the same age. So like, whoa, geez, yeah, and it's so weird. There's so many photos. You could probably, at least on my phone or on my desktop, I could probably find so many photos of me just with a beanie on, or a hat on, or like a hoodie or something like that. Oh, the hoodies too as well. Like I would put the hoodie on and then flip over the hood and then go with that. So I was always masking myself, and I was always just trying to hide the worst of, or what I considered the worst of me. And sure, my personality sucks, and my jokes might be a little offensive, and I might say some stupid things every now and then, but I genuinely felt that when I'm walking on the street, or if I'm walking to class and I pass by 30 people, what are they going to see about me? Well, they're going to see my face and what I'm wearing and whatever. Whether or not I say hello or wave or have a conversation with them is not likely at all. So what the world perceives of me is what I'm going to try and reflect my best self. So it just ended up having this, I guess, indirect negative consequence of just, okay, God, now I have to constantly act this certain way, and I can't be just my genuine self. I have to be this fake. Well, I don't even necessarily think it's fake, because the image that I was trying to put out into college and work and stuff like that was this image of confidence. And how can you be confident if you're hiding one of your features of your body, your physical features? So it's this weird mesh of just you know altruism and being self-confident, and it's just a weird gumbo pot of emotions that I've experienced. And so anytime I had to make a presentation or anything like that in school or class, it's like I hated it because you'd wear a suit and you can't wear a beanie with a suit, and so it's like now I have to look like this, blah blah blah, whatever. And it was so weird, and I didn't talk to anybody about it. I might have mentioned it to my parents every now and then, or maybe a close friend, but there was no, like, I never had like a one-on-one conversation with a therapist, and the therapist can help me examine my emotions and feelings and stuff like that. And that never happened. So, towards the end of college, I think I started shaving my head more regular. I think that just kind of was the good look, and I don't know. I guess I don't have a weird shaped head, so I guess it pulled off. And I don't know. I still feel not as confident. It's weird. Slight tangent. Whenever you buy a car, there's like, I guess, an unknown phenomena, or maybe this is just my own self delusion, but whenever you buy a car, you'll start to notice all of the cars that are the same. So like whenever I got my Prius, I started noticing a lot more Priuses. And I mean, that could be just a direct relation to sales, and just people want to be, going green more. But if you had but I mean, it worked the same. I had an Avalon as well, and I noticed, I would specifically notice more Avalons than when I didn't. So the same thing whenever you have, oh my gosh, I totally forgot the tangent I was going off of. I don't know. I guess it's whenever you shave your head, whenever you shave your head, it's that same thing. It's the things that you notice that it's like, okay, so now that I've shaved my head, people start talking about hair more often. I don't know. It's not something I can confirm 100%, but I feel like with conversation, I've noticed people talking about their hair more. Not to like a selfish extent where the subject of a 30-minute conversation is hair, but when having a regular conversation, it's like I did this thing with my hair, I'm trying this new hairstyle or whatever. I don't know. It's not as frequent to a point where it's like constantly on my mind, but it happens enough where when I walk out my door and I expect to have a conversation with someone, 2 out of 10 conversations might include a topic about hair of some sort, whether it's a beard or face or body or whatever. So that really kind of just perpetuated this idea of me wanting to hide it. And like, again, like back I was in high school when I was just trying to fly under the radar. It's that same idea. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of good-looking people on this planet, and a lot of them have hair. A lot of good-looking people also don't have hair, but it's strange. I don't know. Maybe I just need to work out more and just be super ripped and you're that guy or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's strange. I can't really think of anything else on the subject, so I guess I'll just try and extrapolate and talk. I don't know, but yeah, I don't necessarily think it's worth like exploring and trying to have some kind of self-realization of what my personality is and what it's based off of, because I think now, well, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it also might have probably been partially the way I dressed. I think didn't really complement my look. I'd have in high school, I transitioned to the Converse, which was good. I was wearing tennis shoes for a while, but like, I don't know, I guess I would always wear basketball shorts and t-shirts and stuff like that. And so when you dress like a loser, then you have your hair, you kind of reaffirm the idea that you are a loser. So I just recently started to go through a wardrobe change. Obviously, like now what I'm wearing is just a t-shirt, but that's just because it's Sunday and why not, right? So But yeah, so it's just a whole big mesh, like I said before, of if it's a lack of self-confidence or it's a lack of whatever. But I don't know. I think now, I think I'm very happy with myself now. I think, I've kind of managed to have a specific look that I'm happy with, or at least content. That was another thing. One last thing, maybe. Who knows? I might come up with another thing. You can see how long this video is. um, it was always the coming to acceptance, I guess, and sort of saying, okay, this is me. This is my hand. This is the cards I've been dealt, and this is how am I going to play with it, and how am I going to change myself or don't change myself to better my long-term goals. And I think for a long time I was in denial. I looking at it now, I really was. I was trying to go back to the status quo, and I didn't really accept myself, and I always tried to find a workaround, whether it was kabuki, or whether it was wearing a beanie, or whether it was trying this thing or whatever. I never said to myself, I never looked to myself in the mirror and said, hey man, you're a beautiful bastard, so you need to go out there and give it your all. And who cares what society thinks? Because that was always something that I always said, who cares what society thinks? Like, not necessarily of like F the system, like, not like that, but the your music preferences, and the shows that you watch, and the activities that you do, and the things you want to see. Like, it's so, because I was always an advocate for just do what you want to do, man. People will accept you. People will, you'll find people who will want to be part of your squad, and who wants to be in a relationship with you, and whatever. That'll happen. Just give it time. Life moves on. And it even got to a point where it's like, and specifically in high school, I remember, hanging out with a bunch of friends and just being stupid and doing stupid stuff, and almost being the loud, annoying person to take away from the fact that I'm the whatever, I'm balding or whatever. So it was a balance. I don't know. It's where you act and where you are in life, and whether it's your physical, if it's a physical feature, or if it's an emotional feature, whatever it is, or a trait that you don't like or you want to change. I think there kind of gets to a point where if like deep down in your heart of hearts, that it can't change, and this is just something you're going to have to live with, then you just kind of have to keep pushing and move on, and, find a way to wrap your life around this new thing. So, who knows? Maybe if I was like in high school and we tried to catch it early on, maybe I could have saved my head. Who knows? The history is history, and now is now. But, I think I did spend a lot of time sort of trying to, stop it from happening, and trying to avoid the ultimate realization that, hey, I'm bald now. So you kind of have to just throw yourself out there and really just focus on what makes you happy, and focus on the positives in life, because man, people are going to say a bunch of stuff, and they're going to say a bunch of bad things, and they're going to make you feel bad, and they're going to make you feel worse, and they're going to make you, like totally ring you through all circles of hell. So I've definitely broken down a few times before based on what people say, just because it's like, it's something that I internalized and I forgot about it, and then someone mentions it, and all of a sudden now it's back up, and oh God, what am I going to do? So I definitely had a couple of friends, and honestly, you call them friends, but I'm not sure, but they would bring that up. They would be, I guess, I knew a couple people who were, I guess it was in the circle of friends, who I knew whenever I talked to them, something's getting brought up. Something is gonna, and that probably wasn't a good thing for me. That probably, to live a healthier lifestyle growing up and stuff, I probably could have avoided those people. And I definitely, if I could give any advice to anybody, I definitely think you should leave out toxic people. I think that's common knowledge, but it's not necessarily detailed enough. So when I say toxic people, I'm talking about people who make slight comments, slight remarks, that don't have like good intentions behind it. For example, if someone comes up to me and says, hey man, why'd you shave your head or whatever, then that's not necessarily toxic, because one, they could just think I'm shaving my head for style or whatever. So that's not a toxic person. Someone who makes you feel bad is not a toxic person. It's someone who repeatedly brings up subjects that you've expressed, I guess, not what express that you don't like, that makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you uneasy. It's the people that will repeatedly bring it up. So whether it's making jokes about your religion, or making jokes about your physical looks, or making jokes about something that you like, or whatever it is. Well, I say making jokes, but I'm talking about intentionally, and this is not just I forgot, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings or whatever. It's like every week that you see this person, they're going to make a comment that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's those kinds of people, and it's so hard. It's like such a balancing act to try and figure out, okay, are you purposefully being rude, or are you just stupid, or just like what is your deal, yo? So you have to figure out, you kind of have to set a good example of what a friend is, and you have to figure out what a good influence on your life is, and you have to isolate those, and you have to say, okay, this is the train of thought, and this is the pattern to show that this is a good thing in my life. And then you just have to analyze it against the bad patterns and say, okay, look, is this actually bad, or is it not so bad? If it's something that you can handle, then by all means, that's fine. If the friend is in your life because he's a friend and he gives you stuff and you hang out and you talk about whatever, but he every now and then says a thing, then if you can handle it, then that's not bad. It's only whenever you're really feeling impacted and you're really feeling negative based on the things that they say. So yeah, I don't know. I just accept yourself for who you are. Just there's a lot of crap in life, and I'm sure being bald is not going to be the end of all of my struggles in life. So yeah, I hope this was kind of informative and entertaining, whatever, I guess, kind of. I don't know. I was going through some stuff, and this weekend has kind of been and I tried recording something else, and I didn't really see that it didn't sound good, and it was not very well written. This is something like I wrote months ago that I was trying to go back through and whatever, so I'm gonna have to edit that and try and rewrite it, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, it's weird. Podcasting for over a year, man. It's it's strange. I'm still enjoying it. I think I'm still kind of discovering things about the system and discovering things that I can really like look forward to. But there are also just this crap in life that you sort of need to just deal with. And I think time management is huge for me, but this is totally not relevant to the whole topic of the video. But anyways, yeah, I hope to keep doing these, and I really do appreciate all of you guys' support and everything like that. I know I posted a crap Spider-Man thing. That was just a total reaction to me not having good time management. So what I'll probably do is just post this today, or hopefully Monday or something. I don't know, and then remove the Spider-Man just kind of as a reverse. I don't know. Who knows? So, but yeah, hope you guys have a good. I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And if you, I don't know, like, subscribe, comment. This is not traditional. Well, I don't know. Depending on what this video does, I might start doing more solo stuff, because this was kind of easy to sort of. I don't have anyone to stop me or interrupt me, so I could just keep talking and forever. So. If you liked it, let me know. If you have anything else that you can relate to, any traits, attributes, anything that you've gone through in your life that you kind of resonates with you, definitely let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Let's all be weirdos and freaks together. All right. So, all right. Well, I hope everyone has a good day, and I guess I'll talk to you until the next time. Peace.